everything, guys. Sorry we were not here as much last week. Had the one episode. I was traveling around, trying to get more out to you guys. Had issues uploading, but everything will be back up to normal Monday through Friday, 1 o'clock Eastern. Everything will be coming back around. We have NFL playoff matchups set. We'll get into those a little bit, talk about just what we have coming our way. Obviously, we'll do bigger breakdowns later in the week. And we have a nice little NBA slate going on today. It's on a little bit of a wild day yesterday, NBA and NFL, and bad beats continue to blow for us a little bit.
Yeah, it's getting old now. I know my Mass Edge members are tired of hearing it. Just this is the way the fucking ball bounces. Second week in a row, we get beat due to a 96-yard punt return for a TD. I mean, it's unimaginable. These things happen once a year. We got them back-to-back week. Giants ran one back on the Rams to get the cover. And 14-7 lead in the fourth quarter. Bills busted one to tie the game, then go on and win it. Just been like that. For you guys that follow the podcast, actually very lucky. We crushed the line at DraftKings on Saturday. They opened up the Clippers too. And as I put it in my preview, my jaw literally dropped. Today, after re-rating the teams, after Clippers failed to shoot 40% and Lakers shot over 50%, my rating would still be 3.5, even after the loss. My rating being the Clippers being favored 3.5. So they opened up that too. That game went as high as 5.5, close 5 or 5.5, depending on your book. And the Clippers lost it. That was a big bet for us. So the story remains the same. Beat the number, just not beating the game. And that's just not the way it's supposed to happen. At this too long for it to continue. Did have a winner with Tampa Bay Bucks yesterday. I put something in our story on Instagram, if you don't follow us there, where the teams that have been eliminated, I believe, had a record of something like 100 wins, 64 losses against teams that needed to win. That's a general statement. We went with 3 of the teams yesterday that were in the supposed bad situation. Bucks, we laid 3.5. No sooner than we laid it, that game went as high as 5 also. Supposedly the square side. You got a Carolina team, just cannot generate any offense, as we wrote in the story. I don't know the numbers, but Big they've scored more than 10 points twice in the last 7 weeks and have reached double digits once in the last 4 going into yesterday's game. Yesterday they were shut out. So we had Tampa Bay, again, like I said, supposedly square side, and Green Bay. Another one of those square sides need to win against the team that's been eliminated. Look, whether it's Rodgers playing quarterback or Love, they own the Bears, and that's just the way it is. They own the Bears, and they beat them and covered them for the 10th straight time yesterday. The one game we did fail with in that scenario was Seahawks, who really let one get away. Had a 10-3 lead. Just let that get away. We had to get on that game. Of Seattle couldn't have been in a better – if they would have asked for an opponent, they would have asked for Arizona. They had won the last 7 of 8 meetings, I believe, at Arizona. They basically owned them there, covering the last ton of time. Anyway, they could have asked for a better opponent, had the lead, spit it up. They go and win the game, but not by the required 3 points that we need them to. So we'll take an L in that one. So a rough day yesterday. After Tampa Bay won, we were looking for a big day. Clippers just not getting it done. But once again, I'll always tell you guys, what I guarantee you is we are going to beat the number, and you're going to be on the sharp side at the sharp number. You're going to have an edge. Still got to win those games. And guys, I get it. It's been and it's abysmal, horrible. November and December, and now we're going into January. I had a nice little start. We thought we'd finish it off yesterday. Love the Clippers. I'd bet them again all over again today. Just the way it goes. And I get it. You're tired of hearing it. Hang in there. But, hey, you don't think I'm right for you? You can go follow somebody else. There's nobody that's going to beat the Lions in NBA. No, there's nobody going to beat the Lions in NBA like I do in the first place. In NFL. We do it every day on a daily basis. You'll have the edge with us. It's got to turn around, guys.
It absolutely will. If you guys want to be a part of it, make sure you sign up on the app or the website. John, these NFL playoff matchups that are now set, it's a lot of like narratives to it. If you look down the line a little bit, I mean, it could have been Watson versus Houston. Obviously, Watson not in. You obviously have the Stafford versus Detroit, Tyreek Hill versus the former Chiefs, McCarthy versus the Packers. I mean, all the narratives lined up.
Every fucking square in the world's talking about the script. All the conspiracy theorists will all be out just how the NFL wanted it. Hey, Rams step up and beat the 49ers yesterday after both teams wrestled all slow. Went for 2 to get that W so they could go to Detroit, and that's what happens. Some crazy football. Like even the Houston Colt game on Saturday night. I mean, you got a guy in a flat, wide open. I mean, you can't miss that pass. It was a little behind him, but he still got to make that pass. A little error on both sides. But yeah, maybe Houston shouldn't even be there. But this is where we're at. Yeah, a lot of narratives to say the least. Well, I think we should get more to the football in a couple of days. Why don't you talk about today's big football game, Ben, and then we'll go on to the basketball.
Yeah, Washington, Michigan, guys, the national championship going on tonight. I know a lot of you guys are going to be looking at it. Have no bet on the game right now. The lean, though, would be to Michigan for myself. Washington, they look good, but they scrape by in almost all their wins, pulling them out, this and that. And that goes back into Pac-12 play as well. Penix, he's been phenomenal, don't get me wrong, but scraping by wins. Michigan, that was a big win against Alabama. That was the hurdle they've been trying to get over the last several years. Not been able to win a college football game, beat an SEC team, come in primarily healthy, and you're starting to become a pretty big public dog now with the Huskies. Public dog, especially championship games, typically not going to bode too well. And it comes down to play styles a little bit. As a Pac-12 as a whole, I know they technically had the best conference this season. Obviously, SEC is the best conference, but Pac-12 as far as playing other Power 5 conferences, a lot of success. Not a lot of defense. I was waiting to see when that would pop the bubble a little bit for Washington. We saw them with the issues against Oregon's defense in the regular season. We saw them, even Arizona's defense. They struggled with that a little bit. Does Penix finally start to run into a wall a little bit against a good Big Ten Michigan defense? Seems like that's what's going to be. Would be Michigan or nothing for me in this game. No bet currently. I'll be honest with you guys. I was looking at Alabama and Texas in the semis. Didn't bet either of those. Glad I didn't, and probably staying away from this one too, John.
Some of the best bets are those you never make. Just ratings-wise, guys. Again, and I tell all my Massa Edge members, if you're just here for our picks, you're missing a lot of the of what the service is all about. Once again, we are a sports betting information service. Yes, we give our bets, but we also give previews on all the games. And then my exclusive home and away ratings, which I also have in college. And my college ratings, guys, they just nail it, just as they do in all the other sports. And I had Michigan rated a much bigger favorite on a neutral field than Washington. And that's where the line is gravitated. It opened 4, and it's now up to 5. So it's headed in that direction. Again, the ratings, guys, those are the numbers how you make a line, just as I said. Let me get back to the Clipper-Laker game real quick, and then we'll get into this NBA card. Just so not only my members know, but everybody else, if you think about becoming a member, what separates me from my once-in-a-blue-moon 5-unit bet, as I said yesterday, I've got to absolutely love a side. Yep. And as a member, when you look at my ratings, you'll know why I make that side a bet. Going into yesterday, I had Clippers. Now, remember, Clippers and Lakers share the same home court. So as opposed to using the road ratings as we would in the Michigan-Washington football game tonight, here we would use both home ratings for the Clippers. Now, going into last night, they were 42.8, and going into last night, Lakers were 37.0. There's your 5.8 difference, and that's before we talk about ownage. Clippers lost earlier in the season to the Lakers. I believe that one went into overtime. 130 to 125. Prior to that, they had won 11 straight, 10-1 against the number. So you had a little revenge against the team they had owned. And my starting number was 5.8. That's what made it a 5-unit bet. Not that, we got to come up with a big banger. We don't do it that way. So you'll see, your eyes could see the reason that instead of a 2-unit or a 3-unit bet, what makes it a 5-unit bet. So I just wanted to go there. And again, that's when you're utilizing everything that the service has to give. Believe me, we're going to win more of those 5-unit bets than we're going to lose just running in tough luck right now.
Definitely we'll start turning around, see if we can do it on this NBA slate tonight. Kind of a shorter card. We'll start diving in. We got the Bulls at the Hornets. Second game of a home-and-home. Bulls get it done the other night. They own this matchup 10-2 the last 12. Levine, who's been returning, had a decent game. And you have this Bulls team who was playing really well. They kind of went through a little bit of a skid, coming back together a little bit here. And a lot of under trends across the board on this game. Don't want to buck the ownership here with the Bulls. Would be a lean here to Chicago or nothing. Hornets not playing that great a ball. They stole that one game. The West Coast trip, other than that, haven't had much success lately. 1-12 last 13. No interest here back in Charlotte. Bulls are nothing.
Yeah, it's Bulls are nothing because of the ownership, as Ben said. Charlotte 1-12 their last 13 games, but they've actually covered 6 or 7, and that's usually because it's double digits and they're just sliding underneath. Chicago Bulls come in. Caruso and Williams both missed the last game, while Vucevic and Levine came back. Now, when Levine first went out, Kobe White started stepping up, playing real good basketball, and that's when the Bulls has started to play their best ball of the year. Now we're going to add Levine back into the mix. Let's see what we're going to get. Also, when Vucevic went out, Andre Drummond started getting every rebound in sight. So now you get these two guys back. Again, Levine's been talked about in trade rumors since the start of the season. They're still trying to unload him. DeRozan wants out. As I've said quite a few times, the guy that they get the most calls on is the D guy, Alex Caruso. So he's questionable tonight. The story in this game for me is just under. We had under in the last game. And Ben, my site is down right now. Can you just rip off the under statistics for this game?
Yep. So you got both these teams 28th, 27th in scoring. The last 6 meetings all gone under, average 205.2 points per game. Bulls last 4 gone under, average 203.8 points per game. And Hornets last 3 averaging 204.7 points per game. So all of these not even cracking 210 to say the least.
Yeah. So our bet, we sent it out last night, under 217. That game right now is down to 216.
This next matchup, Celtics at Pacers. Second game of a 2-game set as well. You have this Pacers team playing great basketball right now. Won and covered 6 straight. Keep on getting it done. You have Brown and Nembhard questionable for them. And you have Boston. You guys have questionables as well. Tatum, Porzingis, and Hauser. We'll see who goes all in this one. Could be interested in a Boston team very shorthanded. They live and die by the 3, whether it's Tatum out there, White, Brown, Holiday, Porzingis, you name it. They have a couple of those guys, some of the rotationary pieces. They're going to chuck up 45 threes and try to hit 35, 40% of those. Got to see what's going on with these injuries in this game. At the end, though, they got it going right now, and their offense has been very up and down, very streaky. You have Celtics who get it in the last one. We'll see what happens here if they can take both in a row here. But Pacers were playing good ball. See if they can snap a little bit of a 2-game sweep against the C's.
Yeah, Pacers had won and covered 6 games prior to losing to the Celtics the other night. They were just off. So Pacers were just playing phenomenal basketball. Mm-hmm. Actually, prior going into that game, I had the highest rating of the season, even prior to that little run they had leading up to the in-season tournament championship game against the Lakers. But this is what the Celtics do. They held the Pacers to 41.3% shooting, 8 for 42 from 3, under 20%, and Pacers were held to their lowest point total of the season. That's doing it with Porzingis, who played 6 minutes and left the game. Al Horford stepped in. Now, Tatum played a great game. They've got him questionable, undisclosed. Porzingis questionable, and Hauser questionable. So let's see who they'll have on back on the court today. But this will be the third meeting in Indiana. That doesn't happen ever, except in the in-season tournament, because one of the games was an in-season tournament game at Indiana that the Pacers beat them. So both Celtics have now taken 2 of 3 meetings this year. The first one was an ass whipping, 155-10 something in Boston early in the season. So Pacers will come for this one. Let's see who the Celtics have healthy. Same situation for Pacers. Do they get Brown and Nembhard back? This line is low if everybody's healthy, obviously. So we'll see where it is.
We have Thunder at Washington. Thunder coming off a loss at Brooklyn. Wizards, they just coming off a loss to the Knicks. They've now dropped 4 in a row. OKC was playing great basketball. They dropped the last 2. This is got to be a little bit of a chicken soup game here for the Thunder. They won both meetings last year. They're 4-0 against the spread the last 4 trips to Washington. You have one of the top teams in scoring versus the team who gives up the most points. A lot of over trends across the board. That's where I would be looking at in the total on this game. And it has to be OKC or nobody. I don't really want to lay a double-digit road favorite, but Washington, bottom 5, and against the spread at home. They've dropped 4 of their last 5 home games. This seems like a spot here, OKC. They were playing great ball, lose a couple in a row. They get it back right here against the Wizards. Yeah,
Washington, look, just to give you an idea what they're all about, Jordan Poole leads the league at minus 342 in the plus-minus column. It's just been that kind of year for the Wizards. Another loss in their last game against the Knicks. OKC will come in looking to beat somebody up here. 2 straight losses after that winning streak they put together. They had the fall-down game at Atlanta the night after beating the Celtics, but then go to the Nets, and just a game they should not have lost. They go to the Nets, and they outshot the Nets 53.6 to 45.1 and still come walking away with the loss. They'll come to Washington more focused. 2-2 their last 4 trips there. So even when they were bad, they did okay. Covered all 4 of those trips. They'll look to give this team a beatdown, but the number is up there, 11.5. Right where I think it should be.
And we have Rockets at Miami. Rockets coming off a big win against the Bucks the other night. Sengun, another solid game. You have Brooks, though. He's going to remain out. Jimmy Butler, he's going to remain out here for Miami. They were okay on the trip, 2-3. Get a game in LA. They lose this last one to Phoenix the other night. Adebayo, decent outing. Miami, you guys know the story with them at home. They just don't cover at home, 5-10 against the spread. But the Rockets really don't cover on the road. They have won 3 of their last 5 road games. We'll see if they keep trending upward in that direction. And as far as some of the matchup history, Heat have had some success winning the last 6 meetings, 4-1-1 against the spread. Some tight matchups last year. This is a game lean a little bit to the under. Miami's been playing dead under lately. Houston, top 2 in points allowed. So maybe we see that continue a little bit down the stretch here. Is it a little bit of a Rockets letdown? You get a big win against Milwaukee. Can you pair it up and go now here and get a win at Miami? Don't like betting Miami at home too often. Don't like laying points with them too often. But my lean here is to the Heat. Would like to see if it comes down any further.
Yeah, I think this number is right. Exactly where it should be. As Ben said, a couple of tough meetings last year. Both games decided by a total of 5 points. As far as the total, Houston's second in opponent scoring. But since Dylan Brooks is out, this is a different team. They're giving up 109.9 for the year, but giving up 117.3 in the games Brooks has missed. Again, building your team on defense, missing your top defensive guy, different story. Sengun, Ben's giving you the stats. Over his last 8 games, this kid's averaging 27, 8.5, and close to 5 assists. He's playing a hell of a lot of good basketball for Houston. Bam, good defensively. Let's see what kind of work he does on him. Miami continues to play without Butler. He's missed 7 of their last 8 games. He'll be out again tonight. Khalid Martin, he'll remain out tonight. But Spoelstra just he figures ways to get it done. 4 right on the number. I'll pass on this one unless there's a late breaking injury.
Then we have Jazz at Milwaukee. Jazz on a bit of a tough East Coast trip right now. They just got it done at Philly without Embiid or Tobias Harris. They're now 7-2. Their last 9 make it 4-2. Their last 6 on the road. They're playing phenomenal basketball. And you have the Bucks team, 4 cities, 6 days. They come off that loss against the Rockets. You had Giannis, big night, didn't matter, wasn't enough. Lillard's going to be missing tonight. And you have the Bucks, bit of a look ahead to the Celtics coming up. So bad spots all around here for both teams involved in this game. Kind of pick your poison a little bit. The way Utah's going, it's got to be them or nobody. They keep getting it done. Lillard's questionable here. Or Lillard's out, excuse me. So with Lillard out, a little bit of an advantage there. I will say, without Lillard, I feel like Bucks are a bit more of an over-trending team. We've only seen it a few times this season. And if you look at the trends lately, they're under trends. Jazz, 5 of their last 6 went under. Bucks, 4 of their last 5 went under. But very, very high-scoring unders, averaging 239 there for Utah, averaging 240.6 for the Bucks. Obviously, some higher totals. I mean, these two teams up there as far as points scored and points allowed. Lean here is to the Utah Jazz, and I do lean slightly, ever so slightly, to the over in this one.
You have to lean to the Jazz earlier, but that number is gone. So the opening number on this one, guys, was Milwaukee 12.5, and that was because you had Jazz coming. Jazz went to Boston. We talked about it. They played the top 3 teams in the East on this trip. Go to Boston, get slaughtered, then get lucky that Embiid and Tobias Harris are both out also at Melton. So 3 of Philly's 5 starters are all out. They knocked Philly down, but now they come to a Milwaukee team hungry for a win. Milwaukee's playing bad basketball right now. If I'm Milwaukee, I'm probably rethinking Lillard for Jrue Holiday trade. It's just that they've lost their identity. If Lillard doesn't shoot well, and he hasn't lately, what do I got him at? 30-some-odd%. Lillard now 34.8% in the 4 games since the new year. Bucks 1-3, straight up 0-4 against the spread in those 4 games. So how much of a loss is Lillard tonight? We'll see tonight. Giannis, another absolute monster game in his last game at Houston. We had against them in that game, and we got the W, despite Giannis going for 48 and 17, shooting 16 for 25. Problem was the rest of the team shot just what? Where am I here? 19 for 51. That's including Lillard's disaster of a game and 1 for 8 threes. Middleton has got to get back up to being the Batman again.
No.
But Bucks, here's a game. Look, they beat the Jazz both meetings last year by 54 points. Here's a game that Milwaukee's got to come home and get right. 3rd and 4 for the Jazz, 4th and 6th for Milwaukee. Jazz is the deeper team. It would have been Jazz and nobody at double digits. Right now, I think the number is right.
Yeah, it could be worth a halftime look there on Utah. We'll see how things are shaping up at that time. Then we have Suns and Clippers to round out the card. Obviously, a little bit of a playoff history with them last season. You have the Suns coming off a loss to the Grizzlies without Morant. And they're both these teams on back-to-backs. And you have Clippers who are coming off the loss to the Lakers last night. So we'll see who comes back and bounces back. Gordon's questionable here. KD, and he had returned after missing a few games. He was decent. Got to be very careful with the lineups in this game. Who sits with both teams on back-to-backs. And that's kind of where this game's going to get shaped up. They met just last week. Clippers get it done in Phoenix. And we'll see if Suns come with any revenge. They have had success in the matchup. That was a little bit of playoff revenge for LA. We'll see if Suns get them back in this one, but entirely based on lineups. I mean, both teams could be missing key players tonight.
And then that's it. So we won't go into it too deep because both being on back-to-backs, KD just coming back off his injury, his first game last night after missing 3 games. He's a candidate to be sat. You know the history with Beal. So he's a candidate to be sat. And then Kawhi just also coming back from injuries. He could be a candidate to get sat. Last night with Kawhi on the court was the first game the Clippers had lost with Kawhi since November 30th. They had the 2 games that they lost in this stretch prior to last night. They lost in that 4-game stretch. They went 2-2 without Kawhi. So this is the first game that they've lost since November 30th last night. That's how big Kawhi was. And he came with a dud. There's just no way to put it. I mean, the entire team basically did it. Outside of Zubac, the Clippers came with a dud last night in a game you thought they would get they have their ears pinned back for against the Cross City, same stadium rival Lakers, but they didn't. So tonight's game, if everybody's playing, I would take 6.5 with the Suns because of the home revenge from last week or just Wednesday, just a few days ago, because of the 4 straight wins at LA by a total of 50 points. But we'll wait to see what that line is once we get lineups.
That is the NBA card we have going today. Obviously, there's the national championship. No bet here from us on that game. If you guys do bet it, wish you the best of luck. And NFL playoffs coming up this week, guys. Obviously, those bets could be coming out at any point in time. So if you guys want those as they come out, make sure you sign up on the app or the website. Sorry for the inconsistency with the content last week, but back to normal scheduled programming for this week and for the time being. We'll let you guys know if anything changes as far as that goes. And hopefully we get going on this NBA slate today, John, and get a good week cooked up.
One bet so far today, guys. That's the Chicago-Charlotte under. We went under 217 last night. Obviously, anything could change at any moment. We're all about when there's an edge. So if we think there's an edge, once the line moves to a certain point, look, if they didn't push the Tampa Bay Bucks down to 3.5 yesterday, would have never made a bet. No sooner did they put it down to 3.5, we hit it, boom, back up to 5. Nobody knows the games that the Sharps play, how they manipulate the line better than I do. I've been doing it for over 40 years. We're on top of it all. We're on top of the injuries. No better place for injuries, up to the minute. And like I said, you want to get more than who'd we bet. A lot of guys may want to bet our games, may want to bet more games than we bet. Well, we give you a story, a preview on every game, full of stats, trends, injuries, and ratings. And that's why you want to be a member at the Massa Edge.
Make sure you guys sign up. Would love to have you on board. You can sign up on the app or the website. Other than that, we're getting back on track today. Appreciate you tuning in. Like, comment, subscribe below, and let's win some games.
Let's make some money.